Thursday, December 15th, 2022. And the first item on the agenda is public comments. Karen, are there any public comments?
I did not receive any.
You did not receive any. That means there are none. Okay.
Good.
Next, Administrative Officer Anthony, as Father Gene would call you.
Before we begin, I just want to mention to everybody that it was announced last night. I don't know if you were paying attention, but Karen Crosby is our new Assistant Administrative Officer for the town of Woodbridge.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Karen. Well deserved.
Very nice.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
I wouldn't get too excited, Tony. Your job is next.
Good for you and good for us. That's what I say.
Thank you.
If I had known, I would have lasted longer watching the Board of Selectmen. I ran out of steam before that, but I would have.
I'll tell you, those are rough to watch. Let me tell you.
Right.
They are long.
Okay, so we have a year-end. We have a month-end report through November 2022 with a year-end estimated surplus of $522,000. This gives us a slight increase in fund balance of $122,000, which gives us about a little over 14% of our annual expenses. But since I did this memo, we did find out that there's going to be a shortfall this year in special education excess cost grant funds. If you remember last year, we had the discussion on special education excess cost money and the amount we were going to receive. And typically each year we receive that information from the Board of Education. They estimate based on their information that they have what they anticipate we'll receive in the following year. So, the information we were given last year was a lot higher than we'll actually receive. So, the deficits could be in about $180,000. So I just thought I'd mention that. So this surplus here turns into a little less than what we have reported here. But some good news: our interest income is a surplus of about $240,000 that continues to rise as rates go up. Our investments also do better. So our current interest rate is about a little over 4% on a majority of our funds. And I've got a separate an update on that, which I'll get into in a little later. We do have some positive news on the intergovernmental revenue. We received $183,000, in funds from the municipal revenue sharing account, which we haven't really received in the past. So that was unanticipated at the time we created the budget. So that was good news. And so there's some of the highlights of our revenue section. On our expenses, we most likely will see a deficit of natural gas, but I haven't included that in this projection yet to just see how the winter is progressing. We had locked into a much higher rate, 15.59 than we had in the previous year when we created the budget. So also not in this report is the fire apparatus repairs. I anticipate having a funding request for that next month, and then you can evaluate it at that time. We do have an anticipated deficit in waste management and our waste management for two reasons. One is solid waste. We had increased tonnage in the solid waste area for being delivered to the transfer station. Good news there is that we charge a tip fee for that, for the tonnage that's delivered by the haulers. So that should offset. But the other reason for the deficit is recycling has dramatically increased due to the change in recycling market. It's deteriorated over the last few months. So we pay essentially it's called a floor, or it's a little over $70 a ton to actually process the recycling. But what's offset on that is And that's the process to recycling at the plant. What's offset on that is what the group receives for revenue from the recycling as it's sold. Most of that comes from aluminum and probably some from cardboard and some paper. And so in July, we were paying $37.47 a ton. In October, it's $99 a ton. So it fluctuates a lot based on the market for recycling. So we pay $99 a ton to get rid of recycling and $64 a ton to get rid of our solid waste. So it's to show you the difference in the cost of recycling versus solid waste. The other issue with recycling, why it's so expensive, is there's a lot of contamination in recycling. It has to do with items that are put in recycling that are not recyclable, and also the issue with glass that keeps breaking and causing contamination as well. So it's not a perfect system, and so that's the reason. Finally, Amity Regional School District, as we've discussed in the past, will contribute $134,000 less to Amity than we had in our budget process.
Tony, I have a question about that transfer of MRSA funds.
Yes.
What is that about? How did we qualify this year?
So it's a municipal revenue sharing account, and it's an account that's takes sales tax, diverts a portion of sales tax to municipalities after it's based on a certain formula, and some of it's is put towards the auto tax issue.
Oh,
And yeah, and so a lot of it's for that.
mhm.
And then and so that's basically how we qualified.
I
Based
don't
on a formula. I'm not 100% sure what the formula is.
Do you think we were made whole on the auto tax cap?
I would say yes, I would say we probably will. Yeah. With this extra amount, I think it made us whole.
Mhm.
We'll see what happens this year.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Tony? Okay. How about the status of the audit?
So the audit is we've completed the state and federal single audits. We have a draft of the rest of the audit. We are awaiting some final information from the from McGladrey or from RSM, and my original hope was to have it completed before the holidays coming up, but I'm not sure if we'll have it then or maybe the 27th or 28th, but we'll definitely be done before the end of the year. We're just waiting on some final information. Most of our stuff is done. We're just waiting for the audit firm to finish their final review. There's a lot of firms, a lot of towns are going to be late this year.
Really?
Yeah, for a number of reasons. One is there's some staffing issues at some of the audit firms. Another issue is we've had some these lease rules that we've had to put into place. So there's a number of reasons why some towns are having trouble finding staff. So, but we're okay. We should be fine.
Okay. Investment update. I see you have a CD ladder where you're going to be investing in CDs.
Correct. So in this, I have some interesting information I wanted to share. Let's see.
This is good compared to 0.0001% that we were getting, huh?
That's right. We haven't had, so a lot of our funds are getting, okay, here it is here. So as you are maybe aware, we have an investment committee, which actually just met. And the investment committee is responsible for funds that are under trust arrangements. So it's namely the OPEB trust, which is other post-employment benefits, Noisy Clark Trust, which was a trust that was set up for the library. Boy, this is a long time ago. It's got to be in the 40s, maybe in the 30s.
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah.
Long time, yeah. And that's a non-expendable trust where there was a initial amount of maybe $40,000 set up, and the town can use the interest. And then there's a common investment trust, which is for the cemetery. So those are invested by the investment committee, and there's you can invest in pretty much anything you want in terms of investment vehicles. There's not a restrictions on that. The rest of our money has a lot of restrictions and can only be invested in very conservative items like treasury obligations and municipal obligations, certificates, CDs or certificates of deposits. And there's a state investment pool that we invest in. So January of this time last year, the rate on our investments was 0.1%. So when we did the budget, it was maybe a little under 1%. Now we're over 4%, which we haven't been over 4% since before the crash of 2008. So that just shows you how long it's been since we've been over 4%, and we haven't been in an increasing rate environment for a little since before then. So I think it's a good time to invest in CDs. So we're probably looking to invest in some CD ladders. Yeah,
Everybody's doing that.
Yeah. So I just thought I'd mention that. That's basically what we do. Is for those of you who don't know what that a CD ladder is we invest in a series of CDs for probably around 245,000, so that it's guaranteed up to 250,000.
Right.
So you invest it in different banks, so that if something happens to one of those banks, you don't lose your principal. Instead of investing $1 million in one particular bank, you invest it in 4 different banks.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. I just wanted to mention that. It's just very unusual that the rates have changed so drastically in like a year.
We can use that to offset the increase in gas.
Yeah, that's right.
Tony, I have a quick question. What are the terms of these CDs? Are these 6-month renewables? Are they 12
You
months?
could do either. You could do 3 months, you could do 6 months, you could do 9 months, you could do 12 months, and you stagger them based on each one has a different rate based on how long or how far out you go.
So the investment committee is doing a mix?
No, so the investment committee doesn't do this. This is just what I do with the treasurer.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is they continue to renew, but you do short and a little longer, but you constantly have a new one coming due that you can invest at a higher interest rate if it's such. So it keeps your money moving, and you don't lock into anything for long term.
You're protected if you do them for less than 250,000. Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, good idea.
Okay.
Woodbridge Board of Ed financial report. I don't know if Tom's coming or not, but you want to quickly go over it? So you know what? Let's hold off till you have that in front of you. I guess there's a deficit from what I could see.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it here. I don't have.
I guess they had a special ed hit.
Yeah. Well, there's a transfer tonight to
Right.
Yeah.
Offset that.
offset it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that now. We'll come back to that if we have to. You know how many financial, you just included those? We never did that before.
We get those quarterly,
Yeah.
Karen? Is it? You know,
We haven't gotten one in a while. So
we're-
they
Yeah.
sent the last quarter of 21-22, and then the first quarter of 22-23.
So we just pass them along for your information.
Yeah.
All right. And anything else, Tom?
No, that's it.
Okay. Funding requests. Let's see. We have a couple. Why don't you talk about this one, Tony? This is the Board of Ed. They received some tuition from New Haven, and they want to use it to offset their. You want to go over that?
Yeah. So we had a similar 2 of them actually last year, where in this particular case the Board of Education billed New Haven for open choice expenditures or for the previous fiscal year, and because those funds did not come in within 60 days of the close of the fiscal year, they cannot use it to offset last year's budget. So that becomes a revenue to the town. typically, when they in the past, they've had these funds, they've billed for these services. They would use it to offset the expenses that are related to those services. Because it's for children that are out of district that come into Woodbridge, and then they bill the district for the expenditures related to that child. So in this particular case, they hadn't received the money, so they had to take those expenditures out of their budget last year. So we received this money this year, and they have some challenges in special education, which were outlined in the superintendent's memo. And so they would like to use these funds to offset those expenditures. Including an out-of-district placement and a bus, unbudgeted bus for the start of the school year.
I have a quick question about that. I don't know if you know this, Tony, but has New Haven paid the full amount due? It just was late?
I believe they came to an agreement on what was due, and then even paid that amount.
Thank
There
you.
was some question as to what the full amount was and how much it would. There was a lot of discussion on this last year. It's my understanding that they came to an agreement and then New Haven paid it.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess the Board of Selectmen approved this. So I will move acceptance of line item transfer 2223-13 in the amount of $131,000. It's not a cost to the taxpayers, it's just the moving the money out, so. I'll make
Second.
that motion. All right, Susan seconds. Any discussion? No? No, okay. I'm a yes. Ellen?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Susan? Donovan?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. All righty, next is, this is a request for funding, and it's the replacement of uninterrupted power supply located at the fire department for the town and fire networks. Let me get this up I'll move acceptance of line item transfer 2223-14 in the amount of $4,108.
Second.
Okay, Dwight. All right, Tony, do you want to just run this quickly, what it is?
Sure. And it's essentially a large battery that allows our networks plug into all of our sensitive computer equipment. Not only the town, but the fire department, some of their equipment will plug into this device. So if there's a power spike or some sort of a fluctuation in power, it doesn't damage the equipment. And also it helps if we lose power and we have to go to a backup like a generator, this will allow us to maintain power so that the servers don't get shut off unexpectedly and then have to come back up.
Sounds like a really big surge protector.
Basically is what it is. Yes.
It's huge.
Basically.
It's huge. It's like,
Big, yeah.
it's like 3 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet high.
It's not gonna fit on my desk. I get it. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, any other questions on this? Okay, yes. Susan, Ellen, Donovan.
Yes.
Dwight, okay, that's unanimous also. And finally, it's a line item transfer to fund the SHPO survey for the Town Center Sidewalk and Pedestrian Safety Improvements Project. I'll move acceptance of line item transfer 2223-15 in the amount of $5,500.
Second.
Okay, anything on this, Tony, you want to mention?
We did not we didn't know we had to do a survey, but this is for the sidewalk project that will be installed from Amity to the center of town, and we have to do a survey of the area where we're putting the sidewalk in for. Typically, they're looking for any archaeological stuff.
Oh, okay, like molds and stuff.
Yeah, or like stuff like that. Yeah, make sure there's nothing buried at that site that we don't dig it up.
Okay,
Well, don't they also look for topographical monuments so that for survey purposes it fixes the points of reference for all future surveys?
We'll have a survey definitely as part of our project, but I think this particular one, they do test pits and then they make sure there's no, Native American,
burial grounds.
burial grounds or artifacts.
Is any of this money reimbursable by grant?
It is not. The grant we received is $600,000 to put in the sidewalk, but they do not cover design or
Got it.
any stuff like that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a lot of grants. A lot of grants do that nowadays, just because people are getting grants and designing stuff and not actually building it.
Got it.
So
Okay, anything else? Okay, yes.
Yes,
Susan, Ellen,
yes.
Donovan, Dwight, okay. Next up is lease pricing for the fire department air packs and radios. You wanna just run this by?
Sure. So the Board of Selectmen approved purchase of air packs, replacement air packs for a portion of their air packs for the fire department, and for all new radios, which I believe they dated back to, I don't know if you know, Dwight, but their radios were pretty old. I'm gonna say 2010 maybe. We did not replace the,
It's about that. They're,
Yeah.
they're about 12 to 13 years old.
we did not replace them when we put the new radio system in. And so
Right.
this will be a purchase over 5 years. And so I went and obtained lease quotes from several different organizations and banks, and JP Morgan was the lowest at a rate of 4.87%. That may change slightly as the markets change, but that was the lowest rate at the time I got the pricing. So hopefully it'll stay, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
And it's a 5-year
Do
payment in
you have to
arrears.
do anything with this, Tony? Or is
Yeah,
it,
typically you approve it.
okay, then I will make a motion that we approve the lease pricing for fire department air packs and radios as presented. I guess it's $598, $155.74 with the lowest quote from JP Morgan.
Second,
Second to Ellen. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, yes.
yes.
Ellen, Susan,
Yes.
Donovan,
Yes.
Dwight. Good. Okay. And we have the amortization schedule on the next page, which.
I just showed you that for, yeah.
Okay, minutes, the minutes of our last meeting, November 17th. I will move acceptance of the minutes of the November 17th, 2022 meeting as presented.
Second. Okay.
Any discussion, corrections, etc.? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes, good. Moving right along. All right. Approval of 2023 meeting dates. You have a schedule here of our regular monthly meetings. The important ones at this point would be Tuesday the 24th, Thursday the 26th, Tuesday the 31st. Chances are we won't meet. We never have, but you never know. And then, of course, March 2nd, very important. That's when we set our budget. April 24th, that's the preliminary budget hearing, and the annual town meeting on May 15th. So I will move acceptance of the proposed Board of Finance meeting dates for 2023 as presented.
Second,
That was, we'll give that one to Ellen. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, yes?
yes.
Yes. Good.
Yes.
Beth was unable to make the meeting tonight, as you can see. She let me know. She had a conflict, so she is not with us for the first selectmen's report. Any liaison activity? Anybody want to report anything? Just fire off if you do.
I went
Like,
to recreation.
excuse me?
I attended the recreation meeting on December 5th.
Okay,
They looked at and they approved the operating budget, which will be presented to the town shortly. They're looking to get the pool filters done as quickly as possible. From what I understand, they have $20,000 in their budget that they can put towards the filters. And they're looking for the town to fund the other 30,000 approximately. Summer concert was great. The road race was also successful. What they voted on was to donate $3,000 to the food fund, or the assistant fund. And then they're gonna put another $1,000 towards the recreation use for whatever like equipment they may need. And they have a lot of support letters for the pool. They had roughly 64 letters that they have on file. So it looks like there are a lot of people who want to keep the pool going. And that was it. So
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No? No? Okay. I guess that's it. So I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second,
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
right?
Well, we won't see you again till next year. So with that, I'll wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and whatever else you celebrate. And we'll see you in January.
see you in
Everybody be
January.
safe.
And to everybody else.
Stay healthy, please.
That's it.
As well.